Many of us know someone who inherited a gene that caused them to get a terrible disease like Alzheimer's or cancer. Now, scientists say they've developed a technique to get rid of those problem genes and therefore the diseases they cause. It's called gene editing. As the name suggests, scientists remove the bad gene and replace it with a healthy one. They did this in an Oregon lab by replacing a gene in a human embryo that caused a potentially deadly heart condition. The embryo was later destroyed. Scientists say gene editing will allow them to prevent a whole host of other inherited diseases, but some don't like the way the process is being tested.
The concern here is that what they did is effectively killed a number of embryos in order to get the genetic change that they want. And we believe that that could have been done later in the process to actually treat even an unborn child or a child with that disease.
Another worry is that this could lead to the creation of so-called designer babies, where scientists alter an embryo's genetics not to save a life or prevent a disease, but to make the person better looking, better in sports and school.
With this technology, we're talking about altering life and altering the germline heredity of people, and that creates a lot of concerns for us and a lot of other people.
Many in the scientific community share that concern. Scientists who gathered from around the world in Washington, D.C. last year said gene editing should only be used to save lives and alleviate suffering.
People start talking about eye color, hair color. Sometimes people start talking about things like memory enhancement or muscle mass and things like that. And I think we really need to be careful about that because, quite frankly, some of that involves very, very complicated science in terms of the numbers of genes that you'd have to manipulate, etc. And at least for now, that's not the game.
It's difficult to prevent those experiments from happening, but what you can do as a community is set clear guidelines about what would be an acceptable experiment and what would be an unacceptable experiment, and to not let those people that perform unacceptable biological experiments get away without some form of regulation or punishment.
So while gene editing is still in its infancy, now may be the ideal time to discuss all of the possible consequences of this new technology, as well as ways to control it. Lori Johnson, CBN News.